the VET S.O.S podcast show, brought to you by the Who You Know Network. Remember, don't drown the sea of transition. Grab the VET S.O.S Lifeline. Mark, I hope you're ready. We got a great organization with us today. Owen, you in the house. Tracey Bradley Sr.'s with us to share some serious knowledge.
Oh, yeah, I'm ready. Thanks for joining us, Tracey. And yeah, Sean, I'm super excited. We've got, I know you're moving to Jacksonville, so you guys definitely are going to be connecting, I'm sure. But yeah, Tracey, can't wait to hear what you're doing over at, the Chamber of Commerce and all the things that you're doing with veterans there. So appreciate you.
Hey, thank you both for having me. Appreciate you guys having us here.
Looking forward to it. All right. As always, we're on the Restream platform. So if you want to push this out as original content on your networks, your social media, hit us up with #pairing and we'll tell you how to do it. It's not hard to do at all. So today we have Tracey Bradley Sr. with us. He served 20 plus years in the U.S. Navy as an aviation ordnanceman. He is a Jacksonville Chamber of Commerce member, serving on the IT Council and the Ribbon Cutting Committee. Tracy earned an MBA from the University of Phoenix and holds a BS in Business Management from the same university. And he serves with Operation New Uniform, ONU, as the Program Outreach Coordinator. Tracy, how are you doing today?
It's a beautiful sunny morning, a little cool here in Jacksonville, Florida, Northeast Florida, so I'm doing great.
Yeah, anytime it gets below, 75, it's cold?
That's true. It's actually in the high 50s right about now, so that's perfect for me. That's open up your windows and patio door weather.
There you go. Just can't jump in the pool.
The Northerners actually come down here and do that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, my grandparents were from Massachusetts. They both retired in Florida. I'm fully aware of the snowbirds. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Why did you get into this veteran transition space, this crazy world that, helps so many people?
Okay, well, first, again, let me thank you guys for having me here, and thank you for having Operation New Uniform on this platform to talk about the great work that we do. How I got started when I retired just over 20 years, U.S. Navy, like you said, it's an ordnanceman. I owe you to all my ordnancemen out there. They'll know what that means. And I immediately started working in the nonprofit arena here in the state of Florida. I retired out of Naval Air Station, Jacksonville, Florida. Started working with individuals with developmental and acquired disabilities, helping them get in the workspace, get jobs, live independently. Went through the state of Florida certification to become a supported living and supporting employment coach, and then went to cerebral palsy of Northeast Florida. So since I retired, I've been helping individuals get in the employment space, find jobs, careers. But I had some bump in the roads. I had my military, I guess, mindset was, hey, we have a 9 o'clock meeting. You're walking in here at 9:10 with a Starbucks. Not going to cut it. And I had a few brushes where HR had to talk to me and go, hey, bring it down a notch. The world's not coming to an end. And I worked with Career Source Northeast Florida, workforce development here and in the city of Atlanta, Georgia, which is my hometown. And as you go through this process, you bump into the wall. Our military mindset was, man, these cities are sometimes a little soft and they're a little this. And come to find out, it was us. It was us military men and women the entire time. When I found out about Operation New Uniform, applying for a position there to basically do the same thing, and the team there had me go through the actual course. I had to go through the 3-week course so I can understand exactly what we're doing. All I said was, dang, I wish something like this was out when I retired. Maybe I wouldn't have ran into so many walls as I did, understanding that you have to take off that uniform and put on a new one, understanding that we dealt with life and death situations on an aircraft carrier. Things had to be timely and on point, but it's not like that in corporate America. It's okay if people come in with their Starbucks talking about how their weekend was. There's no need for me to freak out. So just a lot of those little things that I learned the hard way that Operation New Uniform actually has a course and a training track that help transitioning veterans learn that.
Yeah, I got a little taste of that during my internship when I was hosting a meeting, and I'm the only one sitting in there. It's like, all right, let me hold on to the edge of this desk.
Right, right. It's like who's walking in first and who's going to get chewed out. And everyone's like, hey, it's no big deal. We stopped and got some Panera bread. We got some bagels. Good morning. Here's a bagel for you. And just that mindset, that switch, because most of us who joined the military joined in our late teens, early 20s. And I did over 20 years. So you're talking my entire young adult life spent doing one thing and moving up in the ranks. Now, shutting that off, going into corporate America with a different mindset without being told what the mindset is or what's expected. That was a true learning curve. And Operation New Uniform tries to help kind of guide transitioning veterans and veteran spouses through that learning curve.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that absolutely. So you said you pretty much started in the nonprofit world after the military, right?
Yes.
So was that based on, like, were you doing a lot of volunteer work while you were in the military? Was there something that led you to wanting to do nonprofit work?
No, it was totally by accident. When I retired, one of the churches I was attending here locally in Jacksonville, Florida, one of the elders who was on the deacon board came to me and said, I hear you're retiring. I run a nonprofit that helps individuals with developmental and acquired disabilities and traumatic brain injuries get in the workforce. He said, I'm getting older. My staff is younger. I don't understand them. I need someone who can come kind of help whip things into shape. And you're retiring out of the military, and I need a strong presence. And so I'm retiring. I'm on terminal leave, like 90 days terminal leave, house hunting leave. I'm like, sure, I'll try it. It's a paycheck. And that is honestly how I started in nonprofits.
I like it. That's what I love about this community is everybody has a story, and not one of them is the same. And, how they get into doing what they're doing, and it's just phenomenal.
I want to hear, Tracey. So the trainings that you guys do, right? Maybe a little bit more about what kind of trainings, and then also, you'd pointed out that you're a member of the chamber, and is that the Jacksonville Chamber?
Yes.
Yes. So, one of the curiosities that I have, and I've had this thought come up, which is, there's a chamber in every location, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are you working with them? Are they working with you? What kind of receptiveness, I guess, do chambers have to helping veterans? And I mean, look, that's a target rich environment. You got all these small businesses and companies coming in that could be hiring these folks or have programs that help these folks.
Definitely. I can only speak for this Northeast Florida area. And when I said the chamber is all in on helping veterans and veteran spouses, they are truly all in. This is a military town. We had the 3 naval base, Naval Air Station, Jacksonville, Mayport, and Cecil Field. Cecil has closed back in the 90s. But this is a military town. And the chamber supports the armed forces, the military, all branches, and their spouses 1,000%. I initially got started with the chamber actually when I was finishing my MBA here with the University of Phoenix. They had a joint program with University of North Florida Coggin School of Business, and one of my professors, Dr. Carlton Robinson, he actually works for the chamber. He's over their minority entrepreneurship training program. And he told me when I was finishing up my master's, he said, you have to plug into the community. You have to plug in. You have to know who the movers are. Jacksonville is very big area-wise, but very small people-wise. Who is going to be very important. So, so that's when I started volunteering at the chamber as part of the ribbon cutting committee, going out, and every new company that came to the area, we did the whole ribbon with the scissors, and we take pictures. So I represent the chamber doing that. at the time I was working with Cerebral Palsy of Northeast Florida. I also used that as a way to say, oh, by the way, I work for this organization and we have some individuals with traumatic brain injuries, developmental disabilities who would love an opportunity to work with your organization. Can I talk to your HR representative? So I used it as a segue into my profession and the organizations I was working with. Fast forward to now, I do the exact same thing. When I go to a chamber event, I represent the chamber. I love it, but I also talk about, oh, by the way, I work with Operation New Uniform, who help transitioning veterans and their spouses get into that career field. Here's my card. Love for you guys to come by, take a look at the office, go online, see a little bit about what we do. I specifically worked with the IT council because IT touches every sphere, whether it's medical, whether it's restaurant, everyone has an IT person, whether it's a company or just a guy who comes in and gets the printers right. So for me, that was a way to get into every local organization. So I am a member of the IT Council. Starting in January, I will be part of the Transportation and Logistic Council on the Jacksonville Chamber of Commerce. I'll be a member of that one also, along with the IT Council. And I am a part of the Military Issues Council, where retired generals, admirals, local politicians all get together once a month and talk about these issues that are affecting not only our active member, but our transitioning members right now, real time. I can tell you at the last meeting here we had in December before they were shutting down, I don't know if you heard about the big DD-214 fiasco, where the military got a new system, and the DD-214 is that document you get that says you completed your service honorably. It shows everywhere you've ever been, every deployment, every ribbon, medal, honor you been awarded. The entire military started with a new system. That system had people who were transitioning out, and they weren't getting a DD-214 for up to 5 to 6 months. And you're unable to find employment because if you say I am a honorably discharged veteran, that's the very first document you have to give to any employer, or even to get certain benefits. If they want to go to school, use their post 9/11 GI Bill. Okay, we need your DD-214, and they're like, I wasn't given it yet. So that was one of the things. I mean, even representative of local politicians, state politicians are a part of this committee to see how they can ring the bell in Congress to help transitioning veterans solve some of these issues that are going
on. The DoD does not have a good track record when they roll out a new program.
They just throw it up against the wall and they go, okay, we'll figure it out as we go.
Yeah, because the Army's doing the new personnel program right now. There's a whole like brownout of all records. The new Genesis medical one that's out.
Yes,
that's got a few
things about that Genesis.
Yeah, so that's crazy. So Operation New Uniform.
Yes,
I heard about you guys through my wife. She took your spouse's program earlier this year. She was one of the virtual ones.
Okay, awesome.
And if I'm not mistaken, you were at the Vets to Tap event, October, November that I was at?
Yes, yes.
It's the only one I've been able to make so far. And I was trying to get over to talk to you, but every time I looked over there, you had like a whole group of people around you asking you questions. But what's funny about that event is she was with some of those people in class that were at the event, and they're all taking pictures and everything. And I kept going when she showed them to me, like, yeah, I'm standing behind that person there. I'm over here right off camera. She's like, you weren't there. I'm like, I was there. But so it was a great program for her as she went through it. And it's really the first major program I think she did is part of, the transition process from the military. So as a spouse, I think it really helped her fix her mind where she had to be. So can you tell us a little bit about, the ONU program and what you guys are trying to do?
Sure. Well, the ONU program is based on the Sandler sales method. Sandler being one of the top sales training organizations in the country. Our founders, the founders of ONU, Pat and Michelle McManaman, basically aren't veterans, but wanted to find a way to give back to local veterans. They took portions of the Sandler sales training method on how to sell and created a course based on teaching us transitioning veterans how to sell yourself, what it takes to sell yourself to a company, an organization, a corporation. You know, we have all these great skills. We were in leadership, we were in this, but then you write on your resume, I was in AO who worked for DOD, and we're using all these acronyms, and the corporate community is like, I don't know what the heck you're saying. I don't know what that means. So this Sandler sales method, the best way I can put it, everything we were taught in the military is us and we, the team, the mission. This ONU training is based on you, how to use how to talk about what you did, what you brought to the table. And one of the biggest things we do in this course right at the beginning before day one is the DISC assessment. Mm-hmm. Understanding who you are psychologically, understanding how to communicate, what your communication style is, different communication styles in the workforce that you're going to be experiencing. So understand that if you're a D, that dominant, you may have been dominant in the military because it was part of your rank and your structure. But personally, you hate making those decisions and being dominant. We come to find out you're an S. You're a little bit more of a nurturer, or you're an I. You're more of an influencer, a talker, which I am an I. I am an I. I did my DISC assessment. So it's, and most of our transition veterans, including myself, like, wow, I didn't know that. And when you look at the characteristics of each one of these personalities, you go, wow, that is me. But it not only teaches you who you are, but how to run a conversation with people who are different from you in their personality. So we start there, then we go into how to understanding a success. We have a success triangle. We talk about what do you want to be when you grow up. And our CEO always says a foul word in our organization is job. We don't say job, it's career. What do you want to do for the remainder of your life? What do you want to be when you grow up? So everything we focus on is a career. And some people want to do what they did in the military. Others, kind of like myself, are like, I don't want to see a base. I don't want to see a ship for a while. I don't even want to go fishing. I want to do something totally different. and we start looking at what it takes to be in that field. How can we match your military background to that field? What courses of training we can help you get into? And we go everything from communication styles. I mean, just everything in this 3-week program, 2 to 3 week program.
If I can comment, so man, I was just like in my head dropping bombs for you, like left and right, because you said so many great things. Number one thing, if you are in transition, you are a job seeker. And if you are a job seeker, your job is sales. You are a salesperson.
Yes.
And you are the product. And
yes.
You have to be able to develop that sales pitch on you. That is key. You have to, if you're an introvert, right? That's something that you're going to have to work on big time.
Exactly.
Is that sales acumen. So, man, I'm super excited to hear what you guys are doing with that with Sandler. And another thing might be what you said is like with the trainings and things like that. I would absolutely recommend like the Gallup Strengths Finders, right? The DISC is too. I've done the DISC, but do some of those assessments too as you're getting out. And maybe Owen you already does that, but uses some of those other resources too. But it's super important because that's going to also give you insight as to more of what your personality is and how you can leverage that. So key. Thank you.
Definitely. Sales is selling yourself. That's exactly what we talk about. We go over upfront contract, how to enter an interview. We go over your star story, taking one of those nice military stories when they ask you those. And we teach all of our transitioning vets that the questions are psychological questions. They're asking you these questions in a way to try to find out, how do you deal with someone you may not get along with at work? How do you solve problems with a boss or a subordinate that you may not see eye to eye with? How do you get to the end of the rainbow? Basically, it's all about problem solving. We talk about the Sandler method of the pain funnel. How do you find out what that organization's pain is so you can relate how you solve that pain? So the whole goal is to let you go into this interview with this Sandler sales technique where you don't sound cookie cutter like everyone who goes into that interview. You are a veteran, you have some skills that most of the world doesn't have. And how do we get you to translate those skills in an interview?
That, that exactly what the Who You Know network talks about too. And you got to stand out. You got to find a way to stand out.
Yep.
And one of the things that stuck out with what you were telling us about ONU, what stuck out for me is the founders aren't military. And so they approached it wanting to help military, but not necessarily from a military standpoint or viewpoint,
yeah.
right? And I tell everybody that I am so happy that I did the career summit through the Who You Know network as one of the first things I did when I started my transition. It has nothing to do with the military. Set my mind up a little bit differently, looking at it from a group of essentially civilians, telling people how to look for a job or instructing them on ways to stand out and improve their job search function. And so I think ONU does kind of approaches it a little bit the same way, and it's just fascinating. And I highly encourage people to seek out organizations like this because it will give you a different point of view than you're used to seeing with all the military focused ones.
Definitely. It's just getting not only the word out, but getting transitioning veterans to, I guess, invest in themselves. I can be totally transparent. When I went through TAPS, it was more of I'm hanging it up for 20 years. This is more time off work to get things settled at home, do other things. And I will admit, I really didn't give my full attention to the information that was being put out in TAPS when I retired. With information about your SGLI, your life insurance, things for your family. I listened to that part when they talked about resumes and yeah, okay, whatever. I was senior enlisted. Find a job would be a piece of cake. That's what we think. That's what we tend to think. Now, that's not reality. I just happened to fall into a great opportunity. But we have some veterans who've been transitioning for 2, 3, 4 years who are still trying to find that career, that passion, what they truly want to do and get involved in. So we go out and speak. We go out and speak at the TAPS class. And I will say this about our founders. Even though they're not military, they made sure to surround themselves with people who could talk the language. Our COO, Dr. Kim Bynum, she is a retired surface warfare officer. She did her time as an enlisted and then transferred to officer. Myself as a retired Navy, we have Jody, our marketer, one of our marketer, who is, she did, I want to say 10, 12 years in the Air Force. Josh, who you guys met through email, he was Navy for I think about 8, 9 years. Elise, one of our primary instructors, her husband is actually on deployment right now. She is a military spouse. So 90% of our team have all served in one capacity or the other. So you get both sides of the coin. We have board members who've never served, board members who retired as senior officers. So you get that taste of individuals who are like, I've been corporate for 20 years. Let me tell you how this works. And then you get us military folks who go, okay, well, I did something similar, but how would I word that? And it just gels real well.
That's outstanding. Now, I know you also at least have one other location you do classes in, correct? I've seen you guys advertise stuff for down in Tampa as well.
Yes.
So I'm tracking you have Jacksonville, Tampa, and then the spouse program, I think, is the only one you're really offering online. Is that correct?
Yes and no. We do Jacksonville, brick and mortar. We do Tampa at the Entrepreneur Center there in Ybor City. And as of coming here in January, we have an online course that is being launched and put out.
Okay.
So anyone and then you're tired, hey, I like that bomb. I got the
Yeah.
tattoo. My ordinance bomb and wings. I like
There you
that.
go. Drop some ordinance for you.
Some more. But yes, we'll be going live with it. More to come here in January. But everything we teach in our syllabus will be in an online course, an online track that transition veterans can take at their pace. Myself, Dr. Kim, our whole team has been doing videos, teaching videos. They'll be able to reach out to us and still get the help through our board of directors for career hunt, career finding. Human, which is one of the best HR organizations, they do all of our mock interviews with all of our transitioning students and guide them. And okay, you did this question well, you didn't do this well, you might want to do some research on this. So and we're going fully online. We're launching an online platform here in January. So we'll have our brick and mortar spots. We'll be online. So the 2023 is going to be awesome. We're excited about it.
Man, that's awesome. Yeah, I was going to ask what the scope of, was it regional, or if you had a vision to expand globally at this point, right? So
Yeah.
that's fantastic. And also, if you're not already, we're going to have one of our upcoming guests, Pete Bloom. He's going to be on the show, and we're going to be interviewing him. He's down in Tampa doing veteran-owned businesses, the Association of Veteran-Owned Businesses. So yeah, we got to get you connected with them too.
Oh yes,
and
please do.
Yeah, the other thing that I want to ask is, so ONU, profit, nonprofit, like, how do you get funding? How can we help? Who would be good connections for you?
We are a nonprofit. We are a nonprofit. Everything we do is to help veterans and veteran spouses. Um, Anyone who would love to support us, where did I just put my thing? There it is. Anyone who would want to support us, we ask that you would go to onuvets.org, which is our website. You can see there how to reach out to our chief development officer, volunteer, the full shebang. And again, like I said, everything that we do is based on helping transitioning veterans, regardless of the branch you were in or how long it's been since you transitioned. Individuals who are getting out in a month, individuals who got out 10 years ago, and spouses. Sometimes, and I'd be remiss myself, we forget to talk about our spouses program, because being a spouse is not an easy job. I thank God for my wife constantly having to put up with me, but we talk a certain way, we deal with things a certain way, and the spouses deal with that too. And especially spouses transition from city to city every time that active member gets a new duty station. So they uproot, they change careers, a career they may have studied for, and now they're doing something else in a certain town that may not have a career in that area. So we have spouses program. We're trying to increase the number of the spouses program coming up here in 2023. But our primary focus will still be on our transitioning veterans.
That's awesome. The thing that sort of sticks out to me about ONU, it is the togetherness. So there is a lot of people talk about it. When you get out of the military, you sort of long for that togetherness you used to have, your team and what have you. And watching my wife go through the program, and the fact that they have tried almost monthly to have a get together, because we're only up in Savannah, so we're just up the road, so we come down there frequently. They've done at least one potluck together with the vets, Vets on Tap event I went to. You had 20 people out there easy, and they're all hanging out like they're blood, like they've been together for years. And so you guys really have this family dynamic thing going on too, which is just amazing. I haven't seen that or experienced that in too many of the other programs I've gone through. I think you guys have something special going on there that a lot of people don't know about, and I don't know how you get it to work, but it's working.
I think it works because there is no time limit. I worked for Career Source Northeast Florida, and when we work with individuals, regardless veteran status or not, it was your 30, 60, 90-day tracker that you follow along, help whoever the individual is with finding a career, a job, as they would say. And after 30, 60, 90, 120 days, you move on to the next set of cases. Where ONU, once you're an ONU alum, you're an ONU alum forever. We have ONU alum who have found a career, worked in it for 3 years. You know what? Life has changed, status has changed, marital status has changed, needs something else. Come back through, refresher. Let's get you one of our board of directors. Oh, you thought about this field. We actually have a board member or a chamber member who's friends of the program, as I call it from my old sports days, who works in that field. We're going to set up an informational interview. We're going to link you two up. You can come to the office and sit and talk one-on-one, and they can tell you what they do in the field and how you can get in the field. So once you're an ONU alum, you are forever an ONU alum. And it's as you were saying earlier, that who you know, you just expanded your network by becoming an ONU alum. We have the 3 feet rule and the 5 people rule. If you talk to 5 people and those 5 people have connections, you've just connected with those 5 people and all of their connections.
Yep.
So we ask people, when you're in 3 feet of somebody, do you discuss that you're out looking for a career? And we go over how to discuss it. Just don't come out and go, excuse me, I need a job. Can you help? Not that way. But we go over how to approach that. We go over the 30-second commercial. We go over all of those things. So once you're a member of the family, it's like the mob. You're here forever.
That's awesome.
Try to get out, but they keep sucking me back in.
That's awesome. And you're part of the great network down in Jacksonville. Jacksonville has a tremendous veteran network, much like I saw in San Antonio as well. Just some amazing groups and everybody supporting each other, which is even better. And I'm so looking forward to being down there right in the middle of it. A lot of great things I think we can do moving down the road to help the community. So we're getting down to the end here. This has been fantastic. Loved hearing about ONU, aside from what I already knew from my wife. So what is it you want to leave? Oh, and by the way, we got your information going across the bottom so people can connect with you and ONU, as well as the website to ONU so that they can definitely give and support the organization. But awesome. As we close, is there anything you want to specifically leave the audience with?
I would say the only thing I would want to leave the audience with is if you are a transitioning veteran, the spouse of a transitioning veteran, or you have family member, friends, individuals that are transitioning within the next 1 week to 1 year or have transitioned, let them know about us. Send them to www.onuvets.org. Everything we do is to basically help you take off that uniform that you're about to get rid of and put on a new uniform and be successful in that transition. Some individuals have found careers in 1 month after completing our program. Some have found careers in 6 months to a year. It is a process, but we are there with you during the whole process. I want to brag and say we do have a 96, 97% success rate here in Northeast Florida with our students finding careers with an average of $75K and above.
Wow.
And we're talking enlisted E3, E4 up to 0405 in the officer ranks.
That's powerful.
Phenomenal.
That speaks volumes. That just amazing stuff ONU is doing. So glad you came on today, Tracey. Mark, you got any closing comments?
No, I think that's great too. I think, the combination of what ONU is doing, what you're doing in the community with some of the community chapters and programs, the support that they're providing, obviously Jacksonville being a, great military town. You've got a lot of big networking opportunities there. So yeah, let's stay networked. You guys, viewer audience, listener audience, make sure that you connect with Tracey. You have got to get plugged in with ONU. I'm just blown away by what you guys are doing and what you've said today. So thank you. And also, I got to tell you, we've been running the Who You Know Career Transition Network and show for 4 or 5 years now. And everything that you've said, the majority of what you've said is, directly in line with what we're teaching as well. So I think, you and I and our network are very well in sync too. So thanks for coming in and sharing.
Thanks for having me. And one last thing, what you said about the partnership in Jacksonville, it is a partnership. I tell people, you got a full buffet. We may be the barbecue ribs or the good fried chicken on the buffet, but we work with Wounded Warrior Project. They are a great partner. We work with Cohen Center for those veterans who may have mental health issues and need someone to talk to. We work with Firewatch when you're talking about veteran suicide prevention. So it's not a one-man show. That is the part that's just like our military careers. It's a team. It's a we. It's an us here in Northeast Florida, and that's what we do.
Hoorah.
Oh, that gave me goosebumps right there. I can't wait to move. Love it. All right. Well, Tracey, thank you so much. Thank you for coming on, talking about ONU and telling us a little bit more about you. Fantastic information, and so glad that you guys are out there doing what you're doing.
Thank you both for having me. Thank you for spreading the word, and we're going to keep doing it. We're just going to keep doing it, keep moving forward.
There you go. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning into the VET S.O.S podcast. Remember, don't drown in the sea of transition. Grab the VET S.O.S lifeline.